Hello guys, and welcome to a new Wargame video today by me, Vulcan. I know it's been a while since I've done a Wargame video, so here we are finally with another one. And this one's quite interesting. It's a fun game, that's for sure. But let's just go over the sides. On the blue side, it's myself, Rangroo and Rugby. Unfortunately, Rugby does drop at the start of the game. This was planned to be a 3v2, but there we go. We unfortunately lost a player anyway, and we ended up playing 2v2. And on the other side, we have Holly and Valh. Valh is not a dictator, and Holly is do linden trees, blah blah blah. So there we go. So that's the teams, and we are playing on Paddy field. Quite a small map. And yeah, in this one we're using random decks. Okay, so there is a website, random deck generator. I'm not entirely sure the website, but I'll leave it in the description. Basically, you can go there and you can click a button and it will give you a random deck for either blue 4 or red 4, whichever one you choose. And then what you can do is paste that into the game using the import, and it will basically, you get a deck. So they're not always great. I ended up getting a 1985 support deck, like a overall all nations 1985 support deck, and basically that meant that I had very limited units, and you'll see that come to play throughout the game. I'm not entirely sure what Rangroo got, but he's definitely sporting a lot of AMX 10Ps, and basically the way I'm going to do this is we're going to talk through the units that we see. Now, there was a lot of units that aren't usually used that came out in this game, which made it very fun to watch and very interesting to play. So that's why I wanted to show it to you guys today, and you can see already we will leave the enemy team's units hidden for now, and I will comment on them as we progress through the game. So I'll keep it from my perspective, and you can see at the start I have plenty of M42 AAGs, and then I have the AMX 30s, that's my best tank on my deck. Then I have NM 113s with Recon infantry. Yeah, Rangroo's sporting loads of AMX 10Ps with these infantry, and I'm not entirely sure what infantry he had. M60 OA1 ADSs or AOSs. He's got some Centurion 84 mils, and he's got the mortars there as well. I've got 2 lances at the start here at the moment next to my fob, and I've got plenty of AAGs going out all over the place. I've got a couple of OH-58 CSs, which are the Stinger air-to-air helicopters, and then I've got some units down here, a couple of Panzerbills, a few more AMX 30s, a couple of AMX HOTs, which are the HGM units, and another Recon squad. So basically my job was to provide spam armor, recon, and artillery. So you can see I've got the lancers here ready to go, but this map's incredibly small, and you'll see that unfortunately affect my use of these lancers quite badly. So at the start of the game we're going to be moving forwards with these OH-58 CSs to try and counter any enemy helicopters that they have, because generally what happens quite a lot is spam. So Val's trying to sneak up on us with a couple of Mi-24s, but fortunately these OH-58s fire very quickly, and although this aircraft does shoot them down, we do manage to shoot down 3 Mi-24s in the process, so that was a pretty good start. He's got some Mi-8Ts heading towards us as well, so he's sporting some very crazy helicopters at the moment, and we don't really have much to deal with that other than all of these autocannons. So that's basically what's happening at the moment. As the AMX 10Ps arrive, they are flooding the skies with autocannon shots and shooting down these Mi-8Ts, which was very amusing. So as you can see in the NM 113s, we have Opklaring, which are some pretty dire recon infantry, but does the job. We just got shot down or shot at by a MiG-21, and we got 3 Delphins coming in with their 500 kilogram bombs, and trust me, we're going to see a lot more of those throughout this game. They got a lot of stunning shots onto these AMX 10Ps and actually did a ton of damage to that convoy as it got stuck into the town. Now I'm moving up with the M42 AAG to try and take down this Mi-2 on the left side here, an exceptional recon, trying to get sight of our units, but the M42's really played a good part throughout this game, just sort of rushing some AMX 30s through Gulf and trying to get some Recon up here so that we can see what's going on. A couple of AMX-30s just controlling that ridge, but in the meantime, we've got Pihotasmech fighting chasseurs in AMX-10Ps, and as you can see, it's a complete cluster. MiG-23 BN comes in and does get hit very hard by our AA. The OH-58CS is there with the fast-firing Stinger missiles, do manage to get the kill. But this is just a bombing strike waiting to happen, and as you can see, the Delphins are coming in, and goodbye chasseurs and AMX-10Ps. The Centurion 84mm were trying to provide fire support. I have brought in an F-15J to try and shoot down some of the enemy aircraft, but I didn't really have much luck there. Fortunately, I did have F-15Js on my deck, which did allow me to control the skies quite a bit. Over here I'm using my OH-58s to clear up some more Mi-8Ts, and these Specialny Jedgnotki actually don't stand much of a chance against two AMX-30s in the forest here. They did very, very well, those AMX-30s, are managing to get across the Gulf. Either way, more aircraft coming in again. I'm not entirely sure why my camera's jumping about, that's quite annoying. A Zephyr B here from Rangroo, providing some Vulcan fire support. With that Vulcan minigun, hovering very low though, and probably going to get shot down by these BTR-50s if he's not careful. Seriously, that's really annoying. I think it's like zooming me in on aircraft, so I'm sorry about that. But either way, let's move on. More chasseurs running to their death from this town, supported by my AMX-30s and the M42 AAGs, trying to take down some of these aircraft, although not going to do much damage to them. As you can see, they fly overhead. You know, maybe they'll get a few points of damage, but they're never going to shoot them down, and those bombs just coming in freely at the moment. MiG-23 MF going to shoot down an F-8F, so a lot of air engagement at the moment is what the majority of our decks really consisted of during this game, which made it really exciting and fun to watch. You can see my Lance here is trying to get right to the back of the map, so it actually can fire its minimum distance to the Lance marker here, because from here, from where the FOB is, I actually can't fire the Lance because it's, you know, there's a minimum range, which was quite amusing. And because Paddy Field's so small, it kind of meant that I had to abide by that for the majority of the game. Either way, AMX 30s, sorry, trying to engage the Vidra. 15J gonna try and take down an MiG-21. A lot of anti-air though, sitting in Charlie does manage to shoot down my aircraft, so that was not ideal. So my Lance going to come in here now. Going to try and do as much damage there as I can with that Lance. But the Pihotasmech making good ground. Rangroo's Zephyr B is going to come up and try and deal with that with my AMX-30s. A couple of AMX-30s here, fighting more Vidras from Valh. And Valh was having really hard trouble, like, these things are not very good, okay? AMX-30s. They used to be top tier in sort of European escalation, but not really used much. And now here we see them in Red Dragon. And my F-15J there getting another kill. Very nice. Second one coming in. But yeah, the AMX-30s, because he's using Vidras, which are just terrible recon vehicles, he doesn't really stand much of a chance, and I'm just flooding more in on this right side. We've got 6 more AMX-30s moving across the field, supported by 4 M42 AAGs to protect them against helicopters, which they seem to have quite a lot of. Got a couple of Panzervilles heading down this road to help out with the attack onto Bravo, but so far we really sort of have the lead due to controlling Hotel and Alpha, whereas they just hold Charlie, so we're currently holding a +1. While they're spamming in their bombers. You can see here come the Delphins once again. And I have my F-15J coming in. He's going to try and shoot down as many of these as he can. Managed to shoot down one, didn't manage to get a second. So slowly picking off those aircraft, but they are doing a lot of damage to us, that's for sure. So now my Panzerville's arriving. Going to try and take down this Sturmy. It's interesting to see one of them. You can see as they've all approached the top of the hill, they've eventually been taken out. A ton of dead APCs all around the edge there. Mi-25 providing us some issues, but fortunately the M113's going to be able to do something there. We've got an Eyehawk in here now from Rang. Fortunately he had one of those on his deck, and he's starting to pick off some of these Delphins. Here goes my F-15, gets a lovely couple of kills and does hit the MiG-21 BIS as well, which allows the F-15J to get away, as the MiG did get stunned by the M42s. That's one thing that's good against these, otherwise pretty useless units. Like, normally you would never bring these because they aren't great value for money, but they're very, very cool, and they do sound pretty awesome. Either way, my Panzerville's trying to support Rangroo's Pioneers as they make a push through the forest. Now, I was actually quite surprised how well the Pioneers were starting to do against the Valh, and with the fire support of the Panzervilles, we definitely did a lot of damage, but now we have the artillery support coming in from the enemy, and more Delphins coming in to try and bomb my positions. This AMX-30 making great ground into Foxtrot. They're going to be flying directly over my Spags, and the F-15 nearly shoots down a second Delphin, but as the bombs land, Spags get silenced, and unfortunately the rest of them get away. So only one more Delphin down, taking our sweet time, but we're getting there. And slowly but surely I'm taking map control. So AMX-30 is going to get ganked by the Mi-25S-24s pretty hard. I've got my M42s being picked off here by that large amount of helicopters. And now they're going to sweep forwards across my lands, and I've got to try and protect against those. So I've got more M42s already on the way. I've got a couple of OH-58CSs, already got a couple that were resupplying by the base. So they are going to be what I use to try and counter these helicopters. Loads of Hawks now. Kau Hawks. Going to be trying to shoot down these Avia S-10Ss. F-15 stayed in the air for a little bit longer just to try and get that kill, but didn't manage to. Opclaring. Going to try and reveal these Mi-25s for as long as I can so I can get the OH-58s up. But what I don't want to do is get the OH-58 shot down by any anti-air, so you'll see me be pretty cautious in chasing down these Mi-25s. But either way, an incredibly fun game so far. You can see that we have been using all sorts of units. We've got the M60A2 USMCs here, and we've got some KM113A1s. We're going to be relying a lot on infrared man pads, so that's quite something. Here we go, the OH-58 is getting a couple of kills there. That was nice. And I did manage to get some shots off with these ones too. But my Spag's now getting into position. And that will allow me to make a push onto Foxtrot again. So now I'm bringing in some Skyhawks. These things have 4 227 kilogram bombs. And I have 4 of them flying in over Bravo. Going to provide the bombing support that we need. And I was really surprised when all of them got out alive, because they are very slow and they have barely any ECM. But here comes the Delphin attack again from the other side. The 2 500 kilogram bombs, definitely scary to play against, and if you can't shoot them down quick enough, they're going to do a lot of damage. You can see they did take out quite a lot of our AA network there. Unfortunately, these Kau Hawks not being resupplied quick enough, so they did manage to take advantage of that. Got some Strike Masters coming in now with the 2 340 kilogram napalm bombs. They're going to try and disrupt this infantry on the roads to stop them pushing towards us very quickly. So there's another interesting unit that you don't normally see. Now T-55Ls being thrown towards me by Holly, and my AMX-30s having a turkey shoot there as they go across the open. MiG-21 F-13 flying about with its 68mm rocket pods. Gonna try and come in for an attack there, but did get stunned as it passed. So that's gonna get evac. More engagement between the AMX-30s and the T-55s. Probably really trying to make a move into Gulf. But here come my Skyhawks once again. You can see this push coming up the road here, so I want to try and bomb that. And we have some 104G starfighters in the sky. They're going to try and deal with this Delphin attack the best they can. Okay, so one of my Skyhawks went down there, fortunately. There goes the second. We've dealt with their attack once again. I lose a Strike Master. So that's 3 planes gone down. Another Lance shot coming in. F-15J takes down one of the Delphins. But with all of these aircraft coming in, the MiG-23 MFs, they have pretty decent armament against my aircraft. So I basically evac'd my F-15 as soon as I saw them. They do manage to get away with 3 of them. We only managed to shoot down 1, and now we have an Avia S-10S coming in with the 57mm air-to-air rockets. Very interesting choice there, going straight for the F-104G. F-104G going to go down to the anti-air network. So now the AMX-30 is being attacked by an Su-22 M4, but my Spags and the OH-58s, they're going to deal with that nicely. Now we have a Wild Weasel out from Rangroo as well. And on my way to Bravo, I have I have Starships. Okay, it doesn't get much better than this. These are fantastic little units with the 5 HE power on their main gun. And they do have a really bad HGM as well, just to make things better. So now Rangroo's making a push with Red Eyes and just APCs in general. That MiG-21 F-13 had a death wish, that's for sure. Trying to do an airstrike onto multiple man-pad squads. Those Red Eyes were pretty much all the infantry we had left at this point, and with Valh bringing in a lot of helicopters, things really start to kick off. Fortunately, this M42 has not been targeted yet. Gets a lovely bit of free damage onto the side of some of these Mi-25s. The Red Eye is still firing away and doing quite a lot of damage, so it's going to force Valh to pull back for now with the Mi-25s. I'm pretty sure he could have just rolled forwards, although I guess we did have quite a lot of AA sat back here. Starfighter there going to pick off one of the helicopters, and will that get away? No, it will not, as the MiG-21 Bisses come round and pick that out. But AMX-30 now engaging a Vidra once again, and that was pretty much the story around Gulf for sure. Other than the T-55Ls, that was the only thing that they had to really counter my AMX-30s, and just considering all of the heavy tanks and tanks that you can get in the game, the fact that it was between AMX-30s and T-55Ls for the majority of the game is what made this incredibly fun. Just being able to use these kind of units to their full potential against substandard enemies was very amusing. But here we have some Humvees coming in now. I do have some more man pads of my own, Stinger A's, and we've got a couple of AMX HOTs here as well. They're going to be able to provide HGM support against the enemy. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying this game. I know it's a bit of a random one, honestly, with these random decks. That wasn't supposed to be a pun, but there we go. It's definitely a random game. I'm not kind of used to showing games that aren't necessarily taken that seriously, whereas this one, it was definitely one of those. You can see these starships will start to take effect as they get their heat cannons on target. They will just blow the crap out of these Vizakari. The auto cannons doing the job there, and Mi-4T's getting wrecked on the ground over there. As you can hear those low sounding cannons open up. Got another 4 starships on the way. They haven't died yet, so I thought, you know what, maybe we can use some more. So I brought them in. Got a really nice sort of spread of tanks and so on in this tree lines near Foxtrot now, so gonna finally come up and capture Gulf, but gonna use my M621 to go and drop infantry into Foxtrot so we can contest that and maybe start to finally finish the game. Because we definitely have a massive map advantage at the moment. We just haven't captured the sectors, because we could have been capturing Bravo at this point and we could have been capturing Gulf. So that's exactly what we try and do. MiG-23BN going to come in and deal a little bit of damage with those SAL missiles, and we have a Wide Weasel trying its luck against the Cub radar AA here, but just gets out alive with 4 missiles on its tail. Vizakari here going to get hit very hard by the Vulcan gun, and then 3 shots from these M60A1s. Starship's coming forwards. Going to be trying our best to do some damage here with those main guns, some MI4s. Going to be scouting us out here, but they are resupply. Now MiG-23BN going to come in and try and take care of those starships. Got an F-15J going to try and help take that out. I do evac that because I wasn't entirely sure what the AA net would have been like if I'd carried on. But another MiG-23BN going down to these Rolands now being brought in by Rangroo. AMX-30s standing in wait for the attack of the T-55s. They are rolling forwards in formation, a Russian charge against the French tanks and the French APCs. We also have some MD-500 ITOs, which are the little birds with ATGMs, to try and force them back, and that's exactly what we did. MiG-23 MF's going to come in and try and take out those helicopters because they're very squishy, but they're flying over all of my man pads now. And these AAGs going to do a fantastic job at shooting down a couple of those aircraft. That massive amount of aircraft came in, and we did manage to shoot down quite a fair few of them, so that was great. Now in the bomb side here we can see an attack from Valh. He's coming in with the Mi-25 S-24s directly onto our base. I do have a Rover CP already called in to try and help that, and you'll see that pop up just there as I brought it in. So I just got it in time. Rangroo unfortunately has a command out in the open here, which is going to get spotted and taken out. But he's going to start splitting his helicopters, and this is where he makes the mistake. Because he split them, it does allow our AA to start picking them off, and you can see my Spags here starting to do a lot of damage as they approach Hotel. Nowhere near my command infantry. I've got this Rover, and that's going to move back into Delta, just to recap that, so we can start to bring in some reinforcements to clear this up. And once most of these Mi-25 S-24s are dead, that's going to leave them with not many troops whatsoever. And you can see they are slowly all being shot down by the Spags here. Getting loads of kills as this game continues. So there we go, the man pads there going to be taking down another aircraft. And we've really taken control of this game now. So that was a pretty good attempt at wiping us off the face of the map, but we did manage to hold it back just about, thanks to my quick thinking with the Rover CP and our great AA, because pretty much AA was all we had at this point in the game. I've just got endless amounts of man pads on my deck. I didn't have any proper infantry, which is why I've been using AMX-30s the whole game, and I'm lucky I didn't get trumped with the AMX-30s because they could have had anything, like they really could have had anything. But there we go. So M42 AAGs, AMX-30s, Opclaring, Recon, and Stinger A's a recipe for success, especially in this game at least. So yeah, an awesome game so far. I've still got 4 starships sitting in Bravo. We just need to get more command vehicles on the scene so that we can actually start to push this victory. So there we go. F-15J going to come in and shoot down another MiG-23. It's going to get out of there before these MiG-21 bisses can say anything about it. And yeah, we pretty much know we're in a winning position because of our map presence. You can see we have me pushing into Foxtrot, and with that, basically it allows me to take a Rover CP into the backside and start contesting. Once we control Alpha and Bravo, we're going to be on like a +3 lead. So it's pretty in our favour at the moment, and they don't seem to be pushing us with much because they don't seem to have much left. MiG-23BN coming in again. They've got plenty of those about. Skyhawks and Strike Masters coming up. They're going to be bombing this tree line for my AMX-30s. Just kind of try and make some ground there. Got some helicopters going around the right side from Valh. Here come the bombing strikes as my AMX-30s enter the tree line. and one hits directly on the target there. Got some napalm, going to be covering this advance as well. So I managed to take out the command vehicle. Unfortunately, their tanks here are actually quite effective at close range. The T-55s getting side shots onto my AMX-30s and so on is going to do quite a bit. AMX hot here, just going to try and take out the last T-55 before it gets a shot on target, and does just about as the cannon fires. So traded there, T-55 for the AMX hot. Still have 2 Starships in the far side of Foxtrot, so I know that this rover's safe for now. Got F-15 coming in to try and take down one of these MiG-21 Bisses before they get out, but just before it gets the kill, unfortunately, it does get evac'd. So now we have that +3 I was talking about. We've captured Alpha. We've now fully captured Foxtrot, so that's giving us the +3. If we get a command into Bravo, we're going to be on +4, and things are going to end very quickly from there. So still bringing in more reinforcements, still got more AMX-30s, which is great. Got some Panzerbills here, and they're not going to really do much against these Mi-4Ts other than fire at them with their machine guns. But knowing they are there and bringing over some man pads to take care of them, just so they don't catch out any of my command infantry. And the Stinger A's are going to be in range, so that's going to help take care of them. And we've also got the Spags there as well, so no trouble whatsoever. Those Mi-4s just too slow to really do anything substantial, and now we've got some Mi-4s pressing onto my AMX Hots and the Starships there. They did manage to take out my Rover CP, but as you can see, Valh did surrender this game. It was extremely fun, just throwing out some of these units. As you can see, we still have Pioneers and M60s making a push into Charlie. They're sending their cargo helicopters towards us. They're pretty much sending everything they have towards us. And if I just go into the neutral perspective, we can see that they do have plenty of artillery. So that's what they've been using, but unfortunately a lot of them are pretty low on ammunition. They did manage to use up pretty much the whole of their FOB. We've got some Cubs there, but just nothing substantial. A few units of infantry, but other than that, I think pretty much we had the ground forces to push this to a victory. So there we go. Just cleaning up the rest of the kills here and there. And that is victory. So after 24 minutes and 44 seconds, we end the game. Kills to losses well in our favour. As you can see, I got 5,436 kills to 2,455 losses, which was quite amusing considering the units I was using. Like I said, we had the OH-58 CSs, great counter to the Mi-25 S-24s, and that was really awesome. It's very lucky that I had those in the deck, because otherwise we would have got crushed very early on. F-15 sporting quite a nice amount of kills there. AMX-30s doing the damage as well. We did manage to get a few kills with the Lance, but not too many. It wasn't very effective throughout the game. A couple of the Skyhawks got a few kills. We got the AAGs shooting down plenty of helicopters. Starships coming in there. MD 500 Itos, the little birds with the AGGMs on them. And yeah, it was just a really fun game. And you can see the ones that they were killing. You know, you got Nostovaki, you got Sturmies in there, you got some Conqueror squads, plenty of Mi-25 S-24s, Vidras, MiG-23 BNs, a lot of air engagement going on. And it was just an incredibly fun game, and incredibly fun game to play, but hopefully you guys enjoyed watching it as well, which is why I decided to record it. So there you go, an interesting one, not something I would normally do on the channel, but if you liked it, then please let me know, and I might play more random deck games in the future with people I know. So there we go. In the meantime, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.